This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of T2 Metals, Mr. Mark Saxon. Mark, you're doing something not a lot of juniors in your position are doing right now, and that is you're drilling. How are you today?
Gerardo, good afternoon. Great to talk to you. And yes, very happy to say we've got a rig turning in Manitoba at the moment. And yeah, like as you mentioned, it's a tough industry at the moment, and we're very pleased to be out there spending some money on a great project. So happy to be one of the guys that are getting work done.
Well, listen, let's get right into it. For those that aren't familiar with the project, this is a brownfields, past producing project that hasn't seen drilling in, I want to say, decades. Correct me if I'm wrong. At least it wasn't, the most recent, I believe, was in the last decade or so. And so I'm curious to see what your approach is. I know there was a ton of data that you and the team put together to delineate the drill targets. So I think it's good to start with an overview of the project, the last time it saw this type of drilling, and then let's talk about what you're targeting.
Yeah, sure. And I guess the project's got an interesting history, like most projects do, I guess. And so it was a mining project up until I think it was 1951, and so it produced around 8 million tons of 3% copper, 3% zinc, kind of over the 15 years up to that 1951. So yeah, mined during the war years, and was a significant Canadian producer of copper. It sat quiet for a period after that, and then Hudbay got involved. It then transferred to a company called Halo Resources, and then the work on the project kind of stopped about 2011, and yeah, metal prices were falling. The industry was quite tough at that stage, and some corporate restructuring just kind of meant that nobody ever went back, and lots of money had been spent on the project, about yeah, 140 drill holes, I think it was, that was put in by Halo Resources. But because the corporate structure changed, yeah, the opportunity sort of came to us that to reset a company, to acquire the project really cheaply, and to get back out there and get working again. So we're at this stage now. So it's a VHMS project, which yeah, very sort of similar with other projects in that district. So the companies that are doing really well, I guess at the moment we've got across the border in Saskatchewan, we've got Foran Mining with their McIlvenna Bay project doing really well, and with a project that I guess is about twice the size in terms of tons to what we have in resources. South at Hudbay, with Hudbay in the Flin Flon camp, and so they've just done a major joint venture with a Japanese company across at Snow Lake, still a very big mining operation for copper and gold. So it's a really active region, and yeah, the Manitoba government's great support. First Nations have been very supportive, and so yeah, it's a great place to be investing.
You've done a really, really good job of engaging the local stakeholders and the surrounding communities. And I know that's a partnership that is critical in advancing this project. How are things on that front?
Yeah, so yeah, that's something, and obviously coming from Australia, we sort of work with First Nations groups here as well on a daily basis, and it's a very important part of our industry. It took a little bit of time, I guess, to know the people and engage ourselves in the community, and make sure the money that we're spending is going in the right places. Yeah, we've certainly crossed that bridge now, and built some really good relationships. We're using local people and people from the Kissywapa Cree wherever we can in our work, and yeah, employing and skill transfer, I guess, as well as part of that process. So that's gone really well. Yeah, very pleased with the group of people we're working with. The local village of Sherridon has a fishing lodge, a small camp, and we're basing ourselves out of that fishing lodge. And again, that means we're spending as much money as we possibly can in that local community, and getting great support in return.
Let's talk about the targets. We mentioned it's a past producing property. I mentioned the extensive data set that you had to crunch. Talk to me about these targets and talk to me about what you're hoping to find.
Yeah, so I guess we've got two visions on the project, and so the area as a whole is a VHMS project, so volcanic hosted massive sulfide, which I guess when you traditionally think about those projects, you're thinking about metals coming out on a sea floor, yeah, tens, hundreds, thousands of millions of years ago. And so that horizon of metal-rich sediment then gets sort of folded and deformed and buried in the Earth's crust. So we're exploring for that style of deposit. So there's been 2 deposits that have been mined, and there's another 5 areas that have got historic resources developed that were calculated in 2010 by the previous owner. So we've kind of collated all of the information from each of those areas, identifying the resource and where that's at, which on the whole is close to surface. We've gone back and we've looked at opportunities to infill some of those resources, and then we'll also be looking sort of down dip and at deeper levels below those resources where there's large tonnage potential. So at the moment, the total resource is about 20 million tonnes at about 1% copper equivalent. Most of that sitting very close to surface in an open pit setting. And I guess some of the magic of Sherridon is that we've got both road and we've also got a rail line, an active rail line that passes through the middle of the property. And so we're able to be sort of quite nimble in how we approach the project. So a resource that's close to surface and medium size can go into an open pit and get onto a train and go back into Flin Flon for processing, very, very quickly. So we've got that kind of dual motives. So yeah, always looking for that sort of big mother lode at deeper levels, but we've got lots of great opportunities of near surface mineralization as well.
I gotta believe what's already there is worth a whole heck of a lot more than the $5 million market cap. If this was the only project in the portfolio, you would be extremely undervalued. There are other projects of merit in the portfolio. We'll get to those at another time, but I'm excited to have the drills turning. I am looking forward to results. When do you anticipate starting to see assays come in? I know visually, it's a Copper-Zinc project. You're going to be able to know right away if you're into the right kind of rocks and the kind of mineralization that you're hitting. But again, as far as assays go, when do you anticipate those?
Yeah, so we announced just today that we've got the drill rig on site, and yeah, so that's there, that's turning. We've got people on site, we've got a core yard built, we've got things underway. So give us a month to 6 weeks, and the industry's obviously slowed down a little, so the turnaround in assay time has improved. So a month to 6 weeks. So something into the second half of October into November is when we'll be seeing the assays flow through.
Excellent. It goes quick. We're at the end of September, October, obviously right around the corner. Mark, anything else to add to that?
No, that's enough, Gerardo. Looking forward to sharing more in the future, and we've got some great targets and doing great work.
Fantastic. Good catching up. Thank you again.
Thanks, Gerardo. Chat soon. Bye.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.